We're live, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. We'll call this meeting to order. I'll ask if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest. I am aware of one for myself. Item 5.2, check number 27331 as it pertains to a family member. I'm not aware of any others, but if throughout the meeting you find that you do, please declare it at that time. Deputations, presentations, petitions, and public meetings, we have none. We have a consent agenda. Item 5.2 has been pulled, as well as 5.5. Are there any others that I'm not aware of? Okay, if I can have a mover and seconder for the consent agenda, please. Councillor Kinney and Councillor Foster. Resolved that Committee of the Whole hereby receive the September 16th, 2021 consent agenda items 5.1 through to 5.10, and that all the recommendations contained therein be adopted, excluding agenda items pulled from the motion and voted on separately. All those in favor? Oh, Deputy Mayor Bray? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I have a blurry background and apparently my signs are blurry too. I just wanted to make a quick comment about 5.9, the Treasurer's Report. Going through it last night, I thought it was such a good news story. It's been an incredible year, an incredible 18 months, and I just wanted to recognize the leadership of our mayor, our CAO, our treasurer, and certainly the staff at Town Hall. We were given a huge provincial grant to help us through, and I think we're using it quite frugally. And I was really impressed just reading how well we are doing to our budget despite COVID-19. So congratulations to everybody.
Thank you for those comments. Much appreciated. Okay, if there's nothing else, all those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. We will go to item 5.2, which is the accounts. So I will pass the chair over to Deputy Mayor Bray, as that is the one that I've declared on.
I seem to have two pieces of paper too many today. 5.2, resolve that the Public Works section, Services section, departmental accounts for the month of August 1st to 31st, 2021, as reviewed by the Committee of the Whole, are hereby confirmed by Council, or by Committee of the Whole. If I could have a mover, Councillor Foster and Councillor Watson, all in favor? And there are none to be opposed because the vote was 6-0 in favor. Thank you very much. And I will pass it back to Mayor Byfolchi.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5.5, which was pulled by Councillor Watson. Did you wish to speak to this, Councillor?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just had a couple of questions, I guess. It appears there's only one bid that was came in that was satisfactory, but it's over double the budgeted amount. And I was just wondering why it's so much more compared to the budget. Are they doing something differently with it? When I see the company with the word concrete in it, I was wondering if some of the structures are going to be built out of concrete. That's a trend that I've seen mostly in the city of Toronto, and I actually sent some pictures to our Public Works Department a couple of years ago where I've seen ping pong tables and chairs and that where it's built out of concrete. They last forever, so it's a good investment in the long term. But I was just curious why the discrepancy, so much money from 140 to 291, and also the fact that they really can't get to it till next spring. Would it be worth considering redoing an RFP to see if someone else would bid on this? So that's my questions and comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I believe we have Mr. Rue joining the meeting and hopefully can answer that question. Welcome, Mr. Rue.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Essentially, it comes down to a law of supply and demand. Right now, based from COVID, every contractor out there is busy and is full for the remainder of this year as well as for the majority of next year. We got this out early, but the contracts for any type of playground are very, very limited as far as suppliers in the competitive area in Canada. as well as the people who can actually install the playgrounds. No different than our gas prices. It comes down to a sort of a law of supply and demand. There's nobody available, and so you're going to pay the price to get someone in to get the work done. Kevin and I spoke about delaying it and trying to redo it, maybe go out again next year. We spoke to the expert of our consultant who's sort of leading the team, and their recommendation was not to, simply because it's going to get worse as far as they're going to get more and more occupied. The price is going to go up higher to get the work done. It doesn't look like anything's coming down as far as playground. There's very few people that can manufacture it. And, that's why the recommendation is to go ahead with the price. That's essentially long and short of it. It's law of supply and demand.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Watson, did you have any follow-up to that, or does that answer your question?
I think basically, I guess the other part was, are they doing anything differently in the construction of this that would lend itself to longevity? And I do mention the word concrete because, as I said, I've seen these structures, and if that's happening, that would certainly lend itself to a higher price point because it's going to last longer. So I don't know if Gerald knows the answer to that or not.
Mr. Rue?
Thank you, Your Worship. There is nothing really different as far as playground structure. They're not doing the concrete ones. It's a lot of the poly, which you'll see in the other areas. And right now the poly prices have gone out of the roof, even the pipe prices for anything dealing with plastics. So no, they're not doing concrete. It is sort of what I'm going to call your classic playground, like you see in all the other playgrounds. It's sort of a like-to-like replacement, but modern version, matching sort of what the community park people requested as best we could. But no, it's not any concrete, anything fancy like that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Foster, I saw your card up.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I think Gerald pretty well just answered my question on that. The other thing, though, is when we're looking at this, I think you've implied it's kind of a one-for-one replacement, more or less. I mean, assuming structures sometimes change and all that. But was consideration given to perhaps, is there any area that it could be pulled back a little bit for a budget point of view? I certainly want the park there. I'm not opposed to moving ahead with it. But I mean, again, we answer to the taxpayer as far as the dollars are spent. So I want to make sure they're spent efficiently and that we've given it due thought as perhaps, is it nice to have versus necessary to have? I'd appreciate any comment Gerald might have on that one.
So are you asking perhaps could it be cut back or could it be done in phases? Would that work, Gerald?
Not in phases necessarily, but if consideration had been to change the scope when they were looking at it.
Okay, Mr. Rue?
Yeah, we looked at sort of reducing, and we actually have sort of shrunk it down slightly. One of the things that we will be going forward with, the whole price for the whole park would have been astronomical to do the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 together. So we've actually shrunk it down to just the playground. And the public works employees, so the operations and the parks and roads guys will all be working together. We will do as much as we can to keep the cost down. So any of the path work, we won't be sending that out for a contractor to come in and do the path work in phase 2. That's something our guys can do. The basketball court, we can sub-excavate the material and then put the granular in. They can come in and do the surface. We're going to try to keep all these prices as low as much as possible. Get our parks guys and what expertise we have here to sort of bang underneath and keep the prices down on these things. This is just for the playground alone, and the prices are virtually astronomical right now. They've got us because it's just the law of supply and demand.
Okay, Councillor Foster?
Just as a follow-up, I mean, the number is large, but we do have to look at it from the the overall benefit to the community and hopefully the longevity of the equipment, right? This is a big hit in 1 year, but if it's spread over 20 years that it's useful and safe and all that, it becomes a little easier to swallow the numbers. So I'm grudgingly in favor of it.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, thanks for jumping on there, Gerald. If I can have a mover and seconder for this motion, please. Deputy Mayor Bray and Councillor Kinney, the Committee of the Whole does hereby recommend to Council to award contract number PW 2021-26 for the Glendale Park Playground redevelopment to M&S Architectural Concrete Limited for the prices stipulated in their tender bid. And further, that surplus funds from the Orchard Drive Pedestrian Bridge Project contract PW 2021-14 be reallocated to offset the budget shortfall. And further, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute necessary agreements. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And with that, I believe we are moving to our adjournment. So that was a quick one. Hope everybody has a great day.